All right, friends, we're going to formally get started with the evening. My name is Derek Brinkley. I am the Assistant Vice President of Undergraduate Admissions here at Columbia College Chicago. I always like to start these things off by telling you just a little bit about myself and a little bit about my background. I am originally from Columbus, Ohio. I don't know if there's any Ohioans in here, but hello if you are. Grew up in Columbus, and I grew up as a tap dancer, a singer, a gymnast. I did musical theater. I was in choir. So music is something that's been a really major part of my life. And so I am excited that you all are here to hear a couple of my friends from our music department to learn a little bit about our music programs here at Columbia and what makes them unique. So I've been here at Columbia College Chicago for about 3.5 years. I've lived in Chicago for 6 years total, and I've loved every moment of it. And so I'm super excited that you all are considering Columbia College Chicago as your school of choice as you move into the next phase of your academic career. So thanks for being here this evening. One thing just to note about this presentation this evening, we are recording this presentation, so it's just going to be the slides along with kind of anyone who's talking, so my face, Sebastian and Bill's face. And so just so you're aware, we will be recording this, and this will be available for you all to watch at a later point if you need to refer back to this video, if there are additional questions that you have as well. I'm going to turn it over to my awesome colleagues, Sebastian and Bill, and they're going to introduce themselves and what it is that they do here at the college. So Sebastian, you want to start us off?
Sure. Thank you, Derek, for the introduction. Good evening, everybody. My name is Sebastian Houtz. I'm the interim chair of music. I was born and raised in both the Netherlands and Spain and came to the United States about 30 years ago. I'm a composer, pianist, musician, come from a very varied background, classical, jazz, pop, everything. And well, I've been at Columbia for more than 20 years now. So time is flying, and I love it here. Bill.
Hi, everybody. It's really great to see you. My name is Bill Boris. I'm Associate Chair and Coordinator of Guitar Studies. And I actually grew up in Indiana and lived in Japan for a while and have performed in the Midwest and really toured with a lot of different rock, pop, and jazz artists. And I came to Columbia and I've been here 20 years and I really love it. And part of the reason I love it here is because of the students. They all come here with a certain vision of what they want to do. They're very collaborative and it seems like we just have a great group every year. And I'm really happy to be here and answer any questions. So at this time, Sebastian, do you want to describe our programs a little bit, or Derek, are you?
I think Derek.
Yeah, you have the slideshow, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, so I should share my screen here so you can see my slides, but I am going to, so here's kind of the way that we're going to run this particular event this evening. So I do have a PowerPoint slideshow that we're just going to go over briefly just to talk a little bit in generalities about Columbia College Chicago, what it is that we have to offer here at the institution. And then I'm going to allow both Sebastian and Bill to really dive into the music program itself. So we're going to talk generalities about Columbia, a little bit about the application process. I do want to cover that here at the beginning so that you all are aware of our application processes here at the college, and then we'll kind of go from there. So Columbia College Chicago, can you see the screen on your end? Cool. I'm just, okay, there we go. Now it's working for me on my end. So a little bit about Columbia College Chicago. We are a college for creatives, right? So we focus on combining really the creative arts, the liberal arts, and business in order to allow students to graduate from Columbia with a really strong skill set that's going to hopefully allow you to be successful as you move into your actual career. Okay, so all of our programs are surrounding the creative arts in some way, shape, or form. So whether that be music and sound, which are here for music, obviously, whether that be the visual arts, performing arts, the media arts, whether that's communication and writing, business, and management, those are the types of programs that we offer here at Columbia College Chicago. And we really want to make sure that students at Columbia really, first off, get a chance to experience hands-on learning. And I understand that we're in this really weird virtual environment right now where that might be a little different than what you might normally expect at Columbia. And again, Sebastian and Bill can really talk about how they've kind of structured the curriculum for this year. But we really want to make sure that you are getting hands-on learning from the very first day, right? It's important for us that you have that opportunity to get a sense of what your program really is going to be like, so that if you want to change majors, or if you want to pick up that minor or whatever, you're going to have some of those opportunities to do so. So the hands-on learning aspect of what we do at Columbia is very important to us. Networking and career preparation is a big part of what we do here at Columbia College Chicago. You're going to have an opportunity to connect and network not only with the other students in your class, not only with alumni from the program, not only with your professors, your faculty members. You really have an opportunity to really be able to work with folks who are in the industry, who are performing, who are writing music, who are touring. There's a lot of great opportunities that you would have here at Columbia in terms of networking. And through our Career Center, they really work with students to make sure that you have the tools that you need in order to be successful as you go into internships, as you go into the interview process, making sure that you can put together a portfolio of your work. Those are the kind of things that we're going to focus on here at Columbia. Obviously, a rigorous curriculum. We really want to make sure that students are getting that hands-on, that rigorous curriculum in the classroom, outside of the classroom, that you learn how to think critically for yourself, that you learn how to communicate well, that you learn how to write properly. Those are the kind of skill sets that we want you to leave Columbia with, so again, that you can be successful once you graduate. So, what we do at Columbia really is founded on a strong liberal arts curriculum, and I'm going to talk about that liberal arts curriculum in just a second. And then lastly, collaboration. You're going to have plenty of opportunities to collaborate with students within your program, and also plenty of opportunities to collaborate with students outside of your program. So some of that cross-program and cross-departmental collaboration is something that's very important to us and very important to your success here at the college. So when you look at a typical program here at Columbia, right, and I'm going to take kind of our music BA program, our Bachelor of Arts in Music that we have at Columbia. If you take your curriculum, your program here at Columbia, it's going to be split into 3 different areas. A third of the classes, roughly, that you're going to take at Columbia are going to be within Columbia's core curriculum. So your English, your writing and rhetoric, your history, your humanities, your math, your sciences, those are all part of our strong liberal arts core. So again, that you have the skill set to think critically, communicate effectively, write properly once you graduate from Columbia and move on to the next stage of your career. So a third of the classes are within that Columbia core curriculum. If you're doing our music BA program, the next third of your classes are roughly going to be in your major, right? So that's when you're focusing on your music courses that you're taking during your curriculum at Columbia. And then the last third of the classes you would take within your curriculum at Columbia would be elective credits. So those are opportunities for you to take classes in other disciplines across the college. So maybe you also want to take some photography courses. Maybe you want to pick up a business minor. There's opportunities for students to take other courses in other disciplines, to minor, to double major. Those are great opportunities that tend to happen with our BA track programs that we have at the college. Now, many of you are also here because you're interested in our Bachelor of Music programs that we have at Columbia, our BMus programs that we have. And when you think about the way that the BMus programs are set up, a third of the classes are still going to be within that core curriculum. So all of our students, regardless of your major, will take that core curriculum. And then pretty much just about every other class that you would take here at the institution would be within that BMus program of your choice. So there's a little less flexibility in terms of picking up additional minors, double majoring. Those are harder things to do if you're going into the BMus programs, but they're easier if you're going into the BA program. Okay, so I want you all to just have that understanding that the BMus programs are going to be a lot more intensive. They're going to be a lot more focused. They're a lot more in depth, where the BA program in music is going to give you a little bit more of that breadth and a little bit more of that opportunity to take classes in other disciplines across the college too. So those are some of the main differences between, generally speaking, between the BA and the BMus programs. But again, I'm eventually going to allow Sebastian and Bill to talk in particulars about the differences between those programs, okay? Now, when you think about the application process, by a show of hands for anyone that is on here, who all has started their application to Columbia? All right, I see a few hands there. Excellent, 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 good. So just a brief kind of overview of the application process itself. We started accepting applications typically in late August, early September. It was September this year. And we will start reviewing applications in mid to late October. And we will start releasing admission decisions in late October or early November. Okay, so for those of you that have already started the application process, that's awesome. Encourage you to keep on with that. For those of you who haven't, you have plenty of time in order to go through that application process. So when you go through the application process, there are some different materials depending on, and different timelines, depending on what application it is that you're actually applying to. So I want to talk first about the BA in Music. So for anyone who decides to apply for the Bachelor of Arts in Music, there is no application deadline for the BA in Music. Okay, as a part of your application for admission to Columbia, you would submit your application for admission. There's a short answer as a part of that application as well, typically. There is typically an application fee as a part of that application for admission. And then you would have to submit your high school or your college transcripts. Okay, once you have those things in, we will review your application. We will give you an admission decision, and we will let you know you've been admitted to Columbia College Chicago. Congratulations, and you have a spot in the BA in Music. Okay, as an example. So that's how that process would go. Now, you'll see here on the screen, we talk about something called the Faculty Recognition Award. The Faculty Recognition Award is a talent-based scholarship program that we have here at the college. And in order for you to be considered for that talent-based scholarship program called the Faculty Recognition Award, you do have to submit a portfolio. Okay, so for those of you who might be applying for the BA in Music, you don't have to submit that portfolio for your application for admission, but you do have to submit your portfolio if you are interested in being considered for that Faculty Recognition Award. Okay, now, again, many of you on this call are potentially interested in our Bachelor of Music programs, our BMus programs that we have at the college. With those two programs that we have, students do have to submit some additional materials on top of your application for admission. Okay, so again, application for admission, if you're applying for our BMus program, application fee, like I talked about earlier, and then you also have to submit your transcripts, either high school and or college transcripts as well. Now, if you're applying for the BMus program, you also have to go through a process of submitting a short portfolio and doing an audition. Okay, these auditions and these portfolios, the auditions will likely be, I know we're toying with the idea, some of them are in-person auditions, some of them are virtual. We're gonna continue to monitor the pandemic that we are all in right now, and it may be fully online. We'll let you know if that ends up being the case. But for those auditions and for those portfolios, you do have to submit all of those items that I described, your application, your transcripts, your portfolio, and sign up for your audition by January 15th of 2021. So that's the top of this upcoming calendar year, okay? If you do those things, you will also be considered for that Faculty Recognition Award that I talked about earlier too. Okay, so if you're doing the BA track, no portfolio required unless you want to apply for the scholarship. If you're doing the BMus track, you do have to submit a portfolio and do an audition, and that's also going to consider you for that Faculty Recognition Award as well. There are two websites there that I really want you to pay attention to. The first one is colum.edu/FRA. That is our Faculty Recognition Award website for those of you that are applying through the BA program. For those of you that are applying through the BFA program, colum.edu/BFA is the BFA. And so that's where you're going to find the BMus, the Bachelor of Music. It's going to be under that BFA website. So if you go to either of those websites, we do lay out exactly what you need to submit, how you submit those items, how you sign up for an audition. All of the information that you need will be listed on those two particular websites. So those two websites will be some of your best resources as you're navigating this application and this admission process, okay? Every time I do this, I always stop after I talk a little bit about this process, and I want to take time to answer some questions. So Jordan here, will the portfolio for the BA track also be due by January 15th? That is correct. Yep, so if you're applying for the faculty recognition as a BA student, you do have to submit your portfolio by January 15th. That's a great question, Jordan, thank you. Other questions that you all have about the application process? I'll give you a minute to either, if you want to unmute your mic, you can, or if you want to type anything in the chat box, you can too. What do we have to do for the audition into the BMus? Absolutely. So the best thing I would say right now, I don't have the criteria off the top of my head, but Sebastian might. But the best thing I would say is colum.edu/BFA. It's going to tell you exactly what it is that the music department is looking for that. But Sebastian, do you have that information off the top of your head right now you might be able to share with folks?
Yes, I do. And well, I can say it right away. So what we want to see is what you've been doing, what you can do on your instrument or as a vocalist. If you're a composer or a songwriter, what you've been writing, what kind of bands you have been in, what your musical interests are. We want to see you perform. So that is usually at least one song by somebody other than you. You can also perform your own work. And then in addition to that, we usually test you on your sight reading, your ability to read chord charts or lead sheets, and do some improvisation. It is very important to know that this is, although we call it an audition, really a placement as well, to see what is best for you. So whereas in the more traditional music schools, the audition means whether you're in or out. In our case, it simply means whether we recommend the BA or the BMus to you. And in addition to that, to see where we can place you in ensembles or in private lessons, how far advanced in our music program we can place you. That is probably the best I can give you now.
Absolutely. Good. Anything to add, Bill, on that front?
Just to reinforce that we want to place you in the right classes and the right courses and in the right levels. So the assessment lets us know where your strengths are and where just the correct class you should be in, and it gets us more than that. It gets us a chance to know you as a student coming in. And actually, from those auditions, I've had many kind of longer relationships, phone calls, Zoom meetings with students that had extra questions so I could give them more details about our program.
Excellent. And again, that website is going to be great. I've got it pulled up here on my iPad, and especially it'll tell you exactly what the audition expectations are. So just to get you into that mode to kind of understand what an audition kind of looks like. So there really is some great information on the colum.edu/BFA website. So I certainly encourage you to do that. Ali has a great question. How many people are able to receive the Faculty Recognition Award? That's a really great question. It kind of changes a little bit every single year. To give you an understanding, last year we had somewhere in the neighborhood of 3,000 or so portfolios submitted for the Faculty Recognition Award, and we probably awarded about 35 to 40% of the students who submitted a portfolio. So, every year it does change, and every year it really kind of depends on the talent that we're also seeing through that process as well. And so, if you apply for the BMus program, you're likely going to probably get something in a faculty rec. It could be as small as $1,000. It could be as high as $6,000. So the amount does kind of change and vary depending on the student. But we do have plenty of awards to give out, and so certainly encourage all of you to submit. If you're a BA student, submit that portfolio for the faculty rec. If you're applying for the BMus, your audition is going to serve as your audition for that faculty recognition award. Okay, Riley, great question. So can you talk at all about what we would need for the portfolio piece of it? So, you know, I brought up again the thing on my screen, and it really depends on whether you're applying for the BMus programs or whether you're applying for the BA programs. So I'm going to continue to direct folks back to those two websites that do list out exactly what it is that each particular program is looking for their portfolios. But, you know, I'm looking here, for example, the Composition and Production BMus program, along with some samples about your own productions and compositions and what you've done, submitting a brief musical resume so that we know what it is that you've kind of done in your musical life, submitting a musical personal statement that lets us know about your goals that you're, you know, looking to achieve. So that's the kind of wording you're going to find on the website, and we do try to lay it out as clearly as we possibly can. Lauren's got a great question here. Do you consider first semester of senior year grades in the transcripts? We only need grades through the end of your junior year. So if you're a high school senior right now, we will take grades through the end of your junior year and make a decision based on that. Julia's got a great question here. Would I be able to minor in business on the BMus track? I'm going to actually see if either Sebastian, could you answer that particular question?
I can. So the music, and then maybe this is a good time to actually talk about the differences practically between the BA and the BMus track. So typically, most students who want to do a double major or want to really take advantage of the fact that we are a liberal arts college will take the BA direction in music, because while there is an amount of core requirements, so there's 48 credits that you have to take in the music department. After you've done your liberal arts and sciences requirements and your core requirements for Columbia College for the college, you have still about 38, and sometimes more, depends on where you're placed, but at least 38 credits available to you for electives outside of the music department. In most cases, people take those in other departments like audio arts and acoustics, that is for music technology. Sometimes they take it in interactive arts and media, that is mostly game design. We have also had occasional students who combine music with film, combine music with theater, and journalism. And then last but not least, music business. That is probably the most often used combination, music business and music. I said most people will take that in the BA version, because if you're doing the BMus, you actually have far fewer electives. In the BMus degree, we require that you take many more courses in the music department itself, which is mostly ensembles and private lessons, but also advanced music courses. As a result, you will have only 8 or a minimum of 8 elective credits available. However, very often our music BMus students come in and already place in higher level courses, in which case some of the core requirements are waived. So if you come in with a really good background in music theory, or you have already been playing guitar for 12 years or keyboard for 12 years, we may actually waive you out of the earlier levels and lower levels. And what that practically means is that while you will not have to take those classes, you will still have to do the credits that are awarded to those classes. Those credits become then available as essentially elective credits. You can choose other music classes, but in practice, most students will take a minor outside of the music department. That can be done as a hip-hop minor with dance, or once again, there is a minor in music business that a lot of people take. And so, long-winded answer, the answer is yes, it is possible under the right circumstances.
Under the right circumstances. It's the big thing. And I do tell students too that, you know, if any of you have taken college level courses while you've been in high school, or maybe you've done AP or IB courses and you're going to get some college credits for those things can also open up a few more credits in order for you to be able to add some electives to your coursework too. So, you know, it really kind of depends on you and what it is that you're bringing in, but it is absolutely possible. But the best way to be able to pick up that minor or do that double major would be through that BA in music program. Okay, there's a couple of questions here that are pretty similar to each other. Is there a way to fail the audition? And you know, if you fail the audition, what does that actually mean? I don't like to look at it that way. I don't know how you feel, Sebastian and Bill. I don't look at it as a failing kind of a thing. The faculty want to get to know you, right? They want to get to know you and they want to help you understand, is that BMus maybe the right track for you at the time, or is that BA the right track for you at the time? You know, if you decide that you want to apply for the BMus programs and you go through the audition process and you don't get a spot at the time in the BMus program, you still have a spot in the BA in music. So you still are able to be in the music program, still able to join that music program. You just might be on that BA track versus the BMus track.
Also, you should know that if somebody is not accepted when they're a senior in high school to the Bachelor of Music, that doesn't exclude you permanently at all, because third semester, sophomore year, you can certainly audition again for the BMus track. So you have opportunities. And overall, the way to look at, I think, Columbia's auditions, we want to see how great you are, not the things that you haven't done yet. We want you to put your best foot forward and show us your strongest points. And by looking at that, we can see your progress and where you're best placed when you come into school.
So I would like to also say something regarding the music department. We are not a conservatory of music. So we're not like the New England Conservatory. We're not like Juilliard in more than one way. Whereas the majority of music programs in the US still follow a fairly conservative and tried and proven method, which is mostly based on 18th and 19th century music theory, even when they're teaching pop and jazz. The music department here has radically changed direction. We are teaching many of the courses for theory, for music appreciation, for ear training, etc., in a way that aligns completely with the music that most of you are already listening to, i.e., it's in the idioms of popular music, all kinds of different ways, R&B, gospel, rhythm and blues, jazz, hip hop. Everything is valid because that is truly what we are. We are a contemporary, urban, and popular music program. We also do some classical, but for a very different purpose. Most of the students who study classical with us is for the purposes of composition and production, and it is usually composition and production for film, for theater, for all kinds of other purposes than making so-called concert music. So the term failing is really not something that we use, because if you come in here and you have decided that you want to do music, our assumption is that you're already busy with music. And we're going to try to meet you where you are at. And we have a program right now that we fully believe everybody can enter into.
Absolutely, for sure. Great comments. Thank you both. Do you get preference for early decision? So that's a great question, DJ. We don't have an early decision program. We are in a rolling admission school. So what that means is once the application is open for admission, we will continue to take applications for admission over the course of that entire academic year. Okay. The biggest thing that's different with that is if you are interested in applying and auditioning for that Bachelor of Music programs that we have, that is where you do have to submit those items and audition and go through that process by that January 15th deadline. But outside of that, you could apply in March if you wanted to, still for our BA in Music program. You could apply next July if you wanted to for our BA in Music. So we continue to take applications over the course of the year. Riley's got a great question. So a portfolio that you submit doesn't affect admissions, it only affects scholarship. And that is correct for the BA program, right? So if you're applying for the BA program and you submit that portfolio, it's only going to be for the faculty recognition award, okay? Again, for those who are doing the Bachelor of Music program, the thing to keep in mind, which I didn't mention earlier, is that you'll, again, submit your application for admission and your transcripts. And what we'll do is we're going to review your application for Columbia College Chicago in general. So you'll get a decision from us and it'll say, you know, Simon, you have been admitted to Columbia College Chicago. Congratulations, you have a spot in the BA in Music program. However, we noticed that you indicated that you wanted to pursue our Bachelor of Music in Contemporary Urban and Popular Music. There are additional steps that you have to take. Please complete those by January 15th. And that's where the portfolio comes in and that kind of thing. So, you know, for those of you that are applying for those Bachelor of Music programs, just know that you're going to get an admission decision for the college as a whole, and you have a spot in the BA program, but there's that additional audition and such that you need to do for the Bachelor of Music programs in order to complete that particular application process. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense for everyone. Let me move forward here. I wanted to just kind of put this out there. I know that this particular event tonight is very much focused on music, but obviously we have a lot of general campus tours and visits and things that you can do all virtually right now. But we do offer virtual campus tours, virtual one-on-ones. We have an open house, which is the weekend of November 14th and 15th. We would love to have you join us virtually for our open house. You'll get a chance to meet with faculty, talk with our current students, see a little bit of campus. So there's going to be some great opportunities there. One-on-one appointments with your admissions representative, but if you visit colum.edu/visit or colum.edu/virtual, that is where you can find some of the different information that we have available for you. Okay, and then lastly, just keep in contact with us in admissions. Before I turn it over to Sebastian, I want you to have this particular page. A lot of students have been taking screenshots of it or pictures of it so that you know as you're navigating the admissions process, we are here for you to help you through that process. So we take the entire world and we split it up into different territories. And so you will have an admissions representative who will work with you from your state, from your city, from your country, from wherever you are. And so keep in contact with us as you're going through the process, and we will be more than happy to help. And Simon, to your question there, if you are not admitted to the BMus program, you do have a spot in the BA program. Yep, so keep that in mind, that you can do music at Columbia. Everyone can do music at Columbia, okay? So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. I'm going to allow Sebastian, I know he's got a few things that he wants to share with you all. And then we'll kind of go from there. Sebastian, if there's anything, you should have access to share your screen if you'd like.
Okay, excellent. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. And I first want to show you what we have on our website, because an enormous amount of the information that we have available is already on our websites. And there's a little bit more than our regular website shows. So I'm going to take you through the steps, and please feel free to take screenshots as we go. Bill, would you be so kind as to copy the addresses and put it in the chat? So if you go to colum.edu/music, which actually I can actually put in the chat right now because I have it ready. There it is. You will end up on our landing page, where you basically see all the degrees in a row. You see the undergraduate programs, the Music BA BMus, Music Technology Bachelor of Science, which is a combined degree. I'll talk about it in a moment. And then on the left, some very simple choices. If you go to the Music BA BMus link, you'll come to this page here, which actually shows you exactly what the courses are about. So our Music BA is a general direction in music, and not to make things more complicated, but essentially all the work you do in a BMus, you can also do in a BA without the specific degree. The big difference is, as I explained already, is that you have far more electives. You can basically spend those electives anywhere in the college, even in music, if you wish to do so. However, if we notice that you're a good student and you really qualify for the BMus, of course, we'll try to get you into the BMus. The BA does not have concentrations for a very simple reason. In the past, we found that an enormous amount of students who are, for instance, studying composition also wanted to have some piano lessons, or wanted to do violin lessons, or wanted to do play guitar, take part in ensembles. So to make the regular BA degree as flexible as possible, there are no concentrations. You basically design it together with your advisor. And the information that we just told you is all given here. So that is on the music page for the BA. Then if you scroll down, you'll see that there are other degrees available as well, the Bachelor of Music or the BMus degrees. There is a degree in composition and production, BMus, which is a degree that is mostly for people who are interested in writing for the screen, writing for media, for games, for instance, or for theater, for dance, those kinds of things, or sometimes even art music. Then we have the Contemporary Urban and Popular Music BMus, which is mostly concentrated on performing on instruments or as a vocal performer, performing in ensembles, but also we do stress that all our students should also be composers, singer-songwriters, so people who want to both perform, do a lot of singing, songwriting, want to form bands, do a lot of collaborative music. Those are the people who typically end up in the contemporary, urban, and popular music degrees. So if you click on any of those links, you'll get to the exact degree requirements, which tells you exactly what the program consists of. So again, I went first to the landing page. From there, I chose the Music BA BMus. That landed me here. I scroll down, and there you find all the links to get to the specifics of, first, the Contemporary Urban and Popular Music degree, which also tells you all the courses that you'll have to take in order to fulfill that degree. One of the things I didn't mention is that in the BMus, you will do in total 128 credits in order to get BMus, and in the BA degree, you get to do 120 credits. The difference is per semester, you'll take 16 credits per semester for the BMus, whereas generally speaking, people take 15 credits per semester to do the BA in 4 years. So you can basically look that over, and that's a lot of information. If you really want to see what this all leads to, and also to give you a little bit of an idea what we did with this during times of COVID, here is the result of all our ensemble and collaborative projects from last spring. We have an annual celebration fest called Manifest. Usually it's a street party. This year, of course, because of COVID, we had to do it online, and we had an online festival. If you go to manifest.columbia.edu, you'll find that, and I'll put it in there again, you'll find several examples of what we did. There is, for instance, the R&B ensemble, and they all have wonderful videos and videos. going to give you just little teasers. Here's the new music ensemble. This is completely composed by music students, something completely different. By students who was composing for film. Collaborative efforts between the IAM department, where they made some cartoons. Here we have the Fusion Ensemble, award-winning. Bill will tell you a little bit more about it in a moment. Director. Yes, the question is the iPad. Like I said, I'm going to give you just some teasers. So this is what we produced last semester. If you want to see what we usually live perform, we also have a YouTube page with pretty much performances from the last 10 years. You'll find our faculty performing. You'll find pretty much every band that formed during their time at Columbia, our jazz bands, our combos, all our groups are essentially on here. And with that, actually, I'm going to hand it over to Bill, who'll tell you a little bit more about the different ensembles that are available and the private lessons.
Thank you, Sebastian. Once again, we're really glad you joined us here today to get possibly some more specific information. All students are given an assessment at the beginning. So of course you audition, and for your scholarship audition, we get to hear you play, but people coming in are also assessed to see what level they're at. And we actually take a lot of time and thought to make sure they're placed in an appropriate level where the students are challenged but not overwhelmed. And we have prep classes, we have tutors for theory and guitar. And as Sebastian said, we try to meet every student where they are when they come in. So for ensembles, students that are in private lessons are also eligible to be in ensembles. We have about 20 ensembles, and the genres range from R&B, gospel, Latin, fusion, original music, jazz combos, and really all the genres that make up contemporary music today. And blues also, which is kind of at the basis of a lot of American music. The first 2 years or levels of ensembles, these are called survey classes, and the first one is styles, and the next one is performance. And in these classes, students study a genre for 4 weeks, and then they perform that genre. And what that means is not just play the song, but to find out exactly what the drummer played on the song. What did the bass player play? How do the vocalists sing specifically? What are the background vocalists? What are they doing? What is the guitar part for that tune? So we dissect these tunes in a really interesting way. So the students learn these parts, they study 3 songs, and then they have a performance at the end of the 4-week module as part of their test, so to speak, or their grade to show their development. And at the end of the semester, the students choose 3 or 4 songs, and they do a big concert in the concert hall. These ensembles typically have two rhythm sections or 2 bands, bass, drums, guitar, keyboard, bass, drums, guitar, keyboards, and 3 or 4 vocalists in each group. It's exciting. It's fast-paced in a good way, where you're learning stuff. The singers go in another room and they come back and play with the ensemble, the rhythm section. And it's very much like the way I remember learning music as a teenager. You go learn the song, you play it right away. So there's no playing the song at the end of the semester. You're going to play it at the end of the day or the end of the week. So you're given an assignment. You've got to be, well, you should be ready so that you stay up with everybody. And one brief thing about competition versus collaboration. So Columbia is not a cutthroat conservatory. However, it's a wonderful place of collaboration. And the reason our students improve is because we have some really good students here. They're in ensembles, and everybody else wants to be part of that group and part of that level. So it happens organically in a really supportive way. Another thing, we have some incredible students here, right? But none of them, I've never seen an attitude in 20 years of condescension or somebody saying they're better than somebody else. It's just not that way. They just expect that everybody's going to get better, and they support you. So the first 2 years are these genre ensembles, or the first 2 levels. Then the third so-called 300 level are genre-specific ensembles. And right now these include hip hop, Sebastian's new music ensemble, which you just heard, Americana, which is like American roots type of music, and other ensembles which are dedicated for 2 semesters in one genre. And also, if you're in an ensemble, it's expected that you'll be in it for 2 semesters. So you can actually get the whole benefit, for example, of the performance and styles ensembles that deal with these different genres. We want you to get the whole benefit of the year. And also, frankly, a band sounds a lot better at the end of the year than the beginning of the year. The next level is called the showcase ensemble level, or showcase ensembles. And the fusion ensemble, which you heard briefly, was one of the ensembles, R&B, gospel. And these groups virtually they're performing now, of course, but they're actually on a professional level. And they play out in the city, they get gigs, they get paid for gigs. Many of the members in these ensembles, not just in the showcase ensembles, but throughout Columbia, they're playing in the city for money. And I shouldn't say this. I know some of my students were a little late on their homework. They played gigs this weekend. I don't ask, it's in a pandemic, but they're finding places to play now. Oh, I played this gig. I'm sorry I'm late on my homework. So especially when things get better, the collaboration through the ensembles at school often leads to a lot of work outside of Chicago, which is a great place for all kinds of music. So this is basically about the ensemble sort of structure we have. And also, primarily for Bachelor of Music students, but for other students as well, we have the Recording and Performance Ensemble, which is really a fantastic capstone experience. This is an ensemble that was created primarily for BMus students, but other students are welcome if they need a bass player that's a BA student, or a drummer, they need a drummer. So some students are selected to be in this ensemble. These ensembles focus on writing music all year, original music written by a band. It's recorded and performed. And if you go on our website, on our YouTube channel, there's a lot of great examples of this. And does anybody know who Jonathan McReynolds is by any chance? If you don't, he's a star in the gospel community and probably will be a worldwide star soon. He was in one of my bands 15 years ago, and he started here, and he's creating his original music, and he got the training here. Because I knew him when he came in. He was a really good singer, but I don't know how much he had written. But he's one example of one of our success stories, that through collaboration and fusing different elements of music, he came up with kind of his own style of gospel music. So that's kind of the short version of our ensemble and private lesson programs. There's one general thing you should know about Columbia, whether you're a BMus or BA student, you can really take any course you choose. You're not in a silo where you're stuck. If you have the prerequisites and the authorization, you can take most any course in the music program. So that's kind of the end of my short story right now. Sebastian, Derek?
And I love that Jonathan has Grammys, apparently.
Jonathan has Grammys.
He's like a big deal.
And like 5 or 8 Dove Awards.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get him on the phone, but he will return our calls.
Well, so it is about 7:52 Central, and so we have about 10 minutes left or so, and so we wanted to just kind of reserve these last 10 minutes for any last minute questions that you all have about Columbia, about the music programs themselves, anything else that we can kind of answer for you all today before we let you go for the evening. So if anyone wants to turn their mic on and speak, you can, or if you want to type in the group chat, more than happy to do that as well, but we'd love to entertain any last remaining questions that you may have.
I had one question. So I'm actually going to be in Chicago in a few weeks, and I was just clarifying. So there's nothing that's in person right now? Everything's.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's nothing in person. But I would say you can certainly walk around the campus, right? And for those of you that have not been to our campus before, we are located in the South Loop neighborhood of Chicago. Where are you from, Riley? Where are you coming from?
I'm from Boston.
Cool, excellent, excellent, awesome. Here in Chicago, we are in the South Loop neighborhood. So downtown Chicago, we're kind of on the southern part of the downtown area of Chicago. And our campus is very much an urban campus, right? So our buildings are, we have about 24 buildings or so here in the South Loop neighborhood. Our campus is about 1 mile to 1.5 miles long from north to south, and then about 3 to 4 blocks wide from east to west, right? And so the spine of campus is along a street called Wabash that we have here in the city. And, you know, I always encourage students at this point in time, you know, I know that we can't do formal tours and that kind of thing, but you can certainly walk around the campus, get a sense of the neighborhood, understand if the vibe of our neighborhood, you know, we've got a cool neighborhood with all sorts of murals around campus. It's a very vibrant, really cool, artsy area. A lot of museums are in our neighborhood. So, you know, I certainly would encourage you, while you're here, Riley, to take a walk around campus, and you're more than welcome to connect with me as well. I can throw my email here in the chat box, and I can, you know, provide you with like a campus tour and or a campus tour map, so you can kind of see what the campus looks like and that kind of thing, and kind of encourage you, you know, to look at maybe certain areas of the campus as well. So more than happy to work with that too.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to add one thing to it. So yes, we actually do have classes in session also in the music department, but at this point, because of security reasons and because of health reasons, they're limited to music students only. However, this is a question for Derek more than anybody. Is it okay for students to visit these classes, because they're usually also broadcast by Zoom, to visit classes by Zoom?
As long as you all are okay with hosting students in your classrooms, I'm more than happy for you to do that.
We love guests. So yes.
Yeah, so Riley, you might want to connect with Sebastian and Bill, and they can connect you with some sort of Zoom experience in one of our classrooms.
And before we leave, I'll actually leave my email address here so that you have that, and also the email address of our music department assistant, Evie Cabrera. Mm-hmm. So there's a bunch of questions that are popping up right now.
Yeah, so, absolutely. So let's get through these. What types of field trips do you have for the programs? Are there any sort of experiences, and maybe, you know, some of the study abroad stuff that will hopefully resume, and those kind of experiences?
All of the above. So we have locally a fair amount of trips that are being done every year by different groups, different ensembles, different study directions. We also have international connections. We are connected with the Pop Academy in Mannheim, Germany. And every year, several students go there to be interns. We have a summer program with them. We have a winter program with them. Their professors come here, so there is definitely a lot of interaction going. And again, we'd love to talk with you in greater detail about that. So the short answer is yes.
For sure. Marcel, would I be able to audition my bass playing and rap, or can I just do one versus the other?
No, you can do both. So I'm immediately going to say yes. We want to hear everything you do. Bill? You were
just agreeing. We want to hear everything, and I think if you are auditioning for the BMus, let us know that in advance so we can give you every opportunity to be in front of the right person to hear you.
For sure.
And don't be surprised that if you don't tell us in advance, and we discover this during the audition, that we'll say, hey, you know what? Do you have another 10 minutes? Because I want you to meet one of the other professors that specializes in what you're doing, and you should play for that person.
For sure. Daniela, is the application process and auditions the same for transfer students? And that answer is yes. So transfer students would go through the same application and audition process. Do know that if you are a transfer student and you're looking to come into Columbia during the spring, we're currently not accepting applications for the BMus or the BFA programs for spring. They're only on our fall application. So we do encourage students that are really looking at that to work with us to make fall happen for you. And there's actually, Toby has another question about transferring, and knowing that you're interested in transferring in 2023. Toby, one of the things I would encourage you to do is also stay in contact with us. We do pre-admission or pre-transfer advising, so we can work with you to figure out, okay, what do you need to take at your two-year college for the first couple of years in order to create that seamless transition for you to come into Columbia in 2023. So we've got a whole team of folks in my office that would be more than happy to help you through that process as well.
Yeah, there was a hidden question that's to everybody, was directed to me, but I think it's valid for everybody. How long would we have to be in ensembles, and are we going to be trained individually? The answer is yes, you're going to be trained individually. There are private lessons. Ideally, you can be in ensembles for 8 semesters, and we would love that. Some students opt to do just what is required, which is for the BMU students, generally speaking, 6 semesters.
Perfect. There's a question here about metal. We've got a student, Jennifer, really interested in metal. Do any of the ensembles cover kind of the heavy metal realm? Well,
I can speak to that a little bit. Up until a few years ago, we did have a progressive rock ensemble that may come back. That may come back again. About heavy metal, there are ensembles where you can apply this kind of skill, and your guitar playing can fit in ensembles that have it. And also, you should know that there are students that, the short version is, heavy metal bands have come out of Columbia and are on the road now. So there's interest there, and if we don't have a specific heavy metal band right now, you'll find peers to form the band on your own and have opportunities to rehearse in our building and create your music that way.
Awesome. Thanks, Bill. Jordan, more general, but would you know anything about how easy it is for students to find off-campus apartments in the area? Relatively easy. We do have our housing website. So a couple of things about housing. We do offer housing for students who do want to live on campus. There are 4 different residence halls that students can live in. At Columbia, 3 out of the 4 are full-blown apartment-style complexes. So you've got a bedroom, or a few bedrooms in that apartment itself, a living room, a dining area, a kitchen, those kind of things. And then the last building that we have is more of your traditional building where you've got 2 bedrooms connected by a bathroom in between the 2 of those. So certainly opportunities to live on campus, but many of our students live in the city of Chicago as well. I think one of the things that's really important to know is that every student at Columbia gets a CTA U-Pass. And what that does is, the CTA is the Chicago Transit Authority. The U-Pass gives you unlimited access to the trains and the buses in the city of Chicago. And so where our campus is located within the city, it's so awesome because we're so centrally located that it's easy for students to live in all sorts of different parts of the city. And with that U-Pass, allow you to easily get to campus via train or via bus as you're going through your time at Columbia. So, and again, we would help you with some of that. We can direct you to some websites and such to learn about off-campus apartments if you're interested in doing that. Rosemary, for the Faculty Recognition Award, if a student has only been classically trained in violin but wants to venture into singing, songwriting, would they be able to submit an audition with violin?
Absolutely. I'm the string coordinator as well. I play viola. Here's my viola. You'd be more than welcome. We also offer violin lessons in a hybrid from classical to jazz and pop strings. So absolutely.
Sure. If a student is accepted into the BMus program, can they decide to do the BA path instead or switch over to that?
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
for
And in
sure.
the beginning, Derek, you mentioned, and I think Sebastian mentioned this as well, that gives you a chance to have more electives. And if you're interested in photography and really want to explore that field, for example, that's a way to go. And although the BMus is more intensive, if you're a BA music student and you practice 3 or 4 or 5 hours a day, you're doing really good work. So it depends on how you manage your time, because people come here wanting to learn so much. I think your generation has strong interest in 3 or 4 or 5 things at once. So the way you manage your time will kind of determine what you learn and what you take away.
Absolutely, great. How long should our audition piece be? Sebastian, how long did we do time slots for last year? 15-minute time slots-ish?
15 minutes, yes.
Yep.
And I'd say prepare songs into different styles, preferably one up-tempo, one more ballad style or slower tempo. And this is not a concert, it's an audition, meaning that if we hear pretty quickly how you play, we're probably going to ask you to do a couple of other things. So chances are that you're not going to play more than 30 seconds or even less in some cases of a song. If we hear that you really play well in a song, then we trust that you play it really well. So make sure you can play everything, because we may ask you, hey, play a little bit of the end of the song, play the outro and things like that, just to test you. But yes, in general, most songs are between 2 and 5 minutes. So there you have your length.
Yeah, for sure. And then it looks like last specific question from Dylan: can I audition on both piano and trumpet in addition to submitting my composition portfolio?
Yes.
Yes. There's a lot of yeses on our end. We really, honestly, I think it just goes back to, we really want to see you in your at your best, right? And in your best environment. And I think that
and
that's
that comes
important
again to the difference between us and a traditional music school, where there's a huge separation between the creators and the performers. We're everything. We improvise, we compose, whether you call that singing songwriter or whether you're official composer, it doesn't really matter. But everybody plays as well. So, it is the typical performing musician of our times. You need to be able to produce. You also need to be able to work in DAWs, with technology, everything that a modern composer, modern musician has to do.
for sure.
And Derek, before we go, can I just say, I'd like to say one thing to the students.
Please.
And you know what? This isn't specifically about Columbia, but it is about your path right now. I feel a sense of responsibility to tell you all the information we can and give you all the information available so that you can make an informed decision. So when you're looking at schools, make sure that you find out as much as possible and really get as specific as you can, including meeting with teachers, asking questions, so that you know that you're comfortable with your decision based on all the information that you have, which should be a lot about all the universities and colleges you're looking at. So students, I've had meetings with students when they came on campus. They came back twice or 3 times, or once with their parents. They visited classes. And then both the student and myself, okay, this is the place for you. You've got a lot of information. I don't know what other schools are like, but I urge you to inquire and get as much information as you can when and before you're making the decision.
Absolutely. Sebastian, any last words from you for the crew? Oh, this is a great last question, actually. I think this is good to end on in terms of a last question. To our faculty, why do you recommend Columbia? What is it about it for you that has kept you all here, obviously, for as long as you've been here? And why do you think students should join our community?
So I'll tell you, I come from a fairly strict classical background, but my father was a jazz pianist and my sister is a pop singer. And at Columbia, I found freedom. I found music of the 21st century and beyond, and a spirit of openness, diversity, equity, inclusion, and we're all about making music. We're, well, creatives. And the vibe is fantastic. Bill?
It's similar to Sebastian. I was in the music world playing like 6 nights a week and in different venues, which included shows, jazz clubs, corporate parties, and jobs that had to be done, and things had to be done quickly, and little rehearsal, and you had to perform right away. And so basically every time I went out, my mortgage was on the line in a way, or my rent or whatever it was. I really felt that. But it was an exciting life because you had to do it, and you had to do it with a lot of energy and confidence. And when I came to the school, the music department is so fluid, and we've put on some great events. It's not just the events themselves, it's the way and manner in which we were allowed to put these great events on. I went and asked a famous guitar player to do a clinic. The guy said, go ahead, bring him in. We have these great artists in residence that come in. And there's a great energy at the school that mirrors, I think, the professional world in developing a show and developing performance skills that are at the highest level, but not waiting 4 years to show it. We got to do it this week, or we got to do it this month. So that kind of urgency is real. And that's why it's exciting for me to be in a situation, a school like this. And also the diversity of the faculty and the student population reflects my experience in Chicago and in my life that I'm really grateful for. So those are the 2 main reasons. And maybe the last reason is the students. They each come here with their own, I want to write, produce, I want to do my own songs. They all have kind of a common thread of wanting to do their own thing, and came to Columbia to get the training and realizing they have to put in the work. So
Yeah.
that's
Those are awesome things. And I agree with both Sebastian and Bill. I think for me, I have never worked at an institution, and this is the 4th college I've worked for, and I've never been at an institution where the students have been so driven in wanting to learn and wanting to grow in their skills and their craft. I think that oftentimes, those of us that grow up, and I was one of those kids that grew up with my parents telling me, because I thought about majoring in theater for a hot second. And they're like, well, you can't make a career out of theater, and what's that going to mean, and that kind of thing. And I think what I love about Columbia is that I think a lot of our students kind of come in with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, right? They've been told that they can't make a career out of these creative industries. And they're coming in and they want to prove people wrong. And I think that there's this drivenness, this drive, this, there's something about our students that I have never seen at any other place that I've worked for. And I love the city of Chicago. I can't speak enough about Chicago as an awesome cultural hub. It's an amazing city with so many different nooks and crannies in the city, and great music scene and great theater scene. And there's just so much to do here. And so I can't imagine being a college student in a greater city. And I went to college in another city and it was lovely. But in terms of really being able to take advantage of the city, I think that there's something to be said about being here in Chicago and the opportunities that you're going to have. So that's why I love it.
Yeah. For a big city, it's actually extremely affordable. It's one of the biggest secrets about Chicago is that, you can actually afford to rent a house here.
Yeah, absolutely. And it for me, I grew up in the Midwest, right? So it also has a small townness to it, if you will. Like the neighborhoods kind of are very unique, and it's an incredible city to live in. And so, so thank you all. Thank you all for being here this evening. I want to thank both Sebastian and Bill for your time, being able to spend time here with our students who are interested in Columbia. And, as you go through the process, please don't hesitate to let us know how we can help. In the chat box, we did put both our email addresses there. And so feel free to reach out to us as you're navigating this process. We'd be more than happy to help you. And we look forward to seeing you all at auditions later on this year. And we are so excited that you're interested in pursuing your career here at Columbia. So thank you all so much. Have a fantastic evening. Otherwise, that's it. We're done. Goodbye.